Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the GW Panther. It's the Tier 7 German SPG. It's located on the south spawn of Himmelsdorf encounter, and this one is under the command of angelina75. Game on! Well, it's certainly a bit of a traffic jam at the start of this game. Not surprising because the streets are, well, pretty much blocked. Still, the GW Panther, it's a 15cm howitzer based on a Panther hull. Never got put into production, but it was designed by the Krupp factory, and they were going to go ahead and do it as a replacement for the Hummel, but it never got put into production because they needed the hulls for Panther tanks instead. Well, Angelina's decided to stop at this point because I think she's actually going to fire towards the north and of course towards the hill where some of her teammates are going up already. Yes, a good position here. She's now extending her aim, but didn't see anyone she could fire out there. In fact, she's pulling back because this setter has suddenly turned up at her cap area and looks like he's coming after her. She's locked on, she gets a hit on him for 231. He runs into the wall, he runs straight towards her, and she rams him for another 153, but takes another round. And the CDA comes back to her rescue and saves her life. But she'll now have to hide because the enemy Arty now knows where she is. So she'll just stay here for a brief moment and then she'll back up and be able to shoot at the hill. Okay, that's exactly what she's going to do. In fact, actually, she's got company because the GW 4, I think, came back to help her. Okay, taking a look where she can hit at the moment. Very few places because of the angle, so she's going to have to drive in front of the GW to get a shot up on the hill. But she's got an IS-3 for the next target. Looks good. Rounds out. Excellent. Landed in front of him for 9 hit points. Now, Angelina's going to be using the intuition skill. She has got that skill trained on her crew, and that means that it should be able to switch between the shells fairly quickly if she loads the wrong one. She's loaded a standard HE. Now on the GW Panther, that's capable of doing 600 alpha, penetrating 39mm of armour. And if I remember correctly, the GW used to be able to do 700 alpha with standard HE, so that's a drop of 100. But she has got shots on that Object 263. She can shoot through the gap and hit him. Okay, she's loaded and rounds out. He pulls forward and he didn't penetrate, but she did stun him. So she is picking up stun assist as well as getting some damage on the enemy. You can see where one of the shells landed on his front plate there, which is actually one of the strong points of the Object 263. She's shooting into that corner again. The 263 comes forward rather obligingly and gets hit again. But unfortunately, again, it hits the heavy armour on the front plate and just bounces off. You see the 2 marks where she hit him. Pretty accurate, that. Very accurate. Both marks alongside each other. Now, if she can get the next shot into that superstructure on the top, she might actually be able to get some damage on him because the superstructure is much weaker than the front plate. She's lined up, ready to go, and that's out. Yes, she did it. That was brilliant. That was an excellent shot. 280 hit points. She hit the weaker armour at the top, and it worked. Well, we appear to have the banana now. And so she's changing position because, well, she might want to shoot the enemy over the other side of the battlefield. It would be safer for her to go up on the hill actually, but from this position she can get nice shots on some of the enemy tanks in the north edge of the map. T29, no, she's got no shot there, she's got a red line on the A44. Not a lot that she can hit from here. Okay, I think she's decided she's going to go out to the railway tracks. It's going to be much easier for her to hit targets out there. The GW 4 has moved off and he's on the railway line now, near the cap area. He obviously realised that he came back to defend Angelina, but he decided that it'd probably be better for him to be up on the railway line because there's far more targets, and far more damage you can wreak on the enemy. In fact, we've got the railway lines now, so there's only 2 enemies left. In fact, there's only 1 enemy left. She's looking at him. It's the T-54, but she can't get a shot. She's only got a red line. And he's taken out the game, so it's a victory. So that's the first game. Let's have a look at the second one. The second replay is on the Karelia map. And this time round, it's talon1958 in the GW Panther. Oh, and again, we're missing sound. Okay, this time round, we should have sound. At least I hope we do. Speed up the... Yep, we've got sound. And the game started. I do wish Wargaming would fix that problem, because it's very inconvenient that we don't get the sound during the battle of the engines. Don't know why they've failed in that regard, because it's happening not just to myself, but it's also happening to Klaus Kellerman and to Jingles. We've all noticed it. And I presume that Quickie Baby has as well, but he's managed to get around the problem. Okay, Talon's going up behind the cap. And in this battle again, just like in Angelina's, he's picked a mixed load of ammunition, and he's going to use the intuition skill to actually pick the right shell for the right moment. Okay, no enemy turned up on the horseshoe yet, and we've got the southeast passed, so that area is ours. And 2 enemy tanks have turned up in the northwest corner, so it looks like the enemy is going in force to try and come around the northwest corner and get to our cap from that direction. Now, it's a difficult shot to get that specific corner. In the meantime, he's aiming for an M4A1, which is right in the middle of the swamp area. Turns out, good shot. It actually looks like it landed just behind the M4A1, and he's changing position to avoid counter battery. Okay, there's 3 enemy tanks up that corner now. It's a tier 7 game with tier 5 tanks in it, and that's the T14, which is the British tier 5 premium heavy. Rounds out. He moves forward directly into the shot and takes a shot for 252. That's hurt. You can see it actually hit the front plate of the vehicle. That's where it landed. That's where the hole is. I don't think he penetrated, but that T14 is now taking a bit of a punishment. He's being caned by the A43. Unfortunately, the A43 is now having to put up with more than 1 heavy after at the same time. In fact, the A43's gone. The enemy loses their box tank. And Talon lands a shell next to the T14 for 159. Our T20's gone. So the enemy force that went the northwest corner have punched through, and they're now headed towards our cap. We do have 2 tank destroyers and an A20. And it looks like one of our Arty, the M44, just managed to land a shot on him in that corner. Talon's going to have to move now. He can't stay here. Needs to move down to the southeast corner. And a few enemy tanks have turned up on that corner now. Okay, looks like it's far enough away so we can do damage to the enemy tanks up the other end of the southeast corner, as well as hit the enemy tanks that are on the way to our cap. We've got 2 tank destroyers stopping them from coming, a box tank and a super Hellcat. In the meanwhile, Talon looks like he's aiming towards the enemy Arty, who was last spotted in this corner. I think it was a little further back. It was near the corner. You need to get over the mark on the mini-map. I suspect he probably still was there because Arties tend to stay immobile whilst they're aiming. And now he's got shots on a KV-1 and a Tiger 1, so this is going to be good. Using the standard HE, rounds out, direct hit for 176. Track the guy, stuns him. This is going to be fun. I normally go for the premium HE at this point. It's going to be the KV-1 or is it the Tiger? I think he's going to use the Jedi mind trick on them and make them come forward. Yep, well, KV-1 took the hit, 188. Enemy heavies are now starting to appear on the west side of the map. These are not the droids you're looking for. You want to come forward. You want to come forward. That's out. Direct hit. 176. He is making damage, but he's not getting as much as he would have got with standard shells back when, before the changes in 1.13. And the enemy have punched through the tank that was the Cromwell B that stopped them mid-track on the west side. Got another hit on the Tiger. I don't think the Tiger can see him because he is shooting up and over the cliff that's blocking sight of the GW. Okay, we know that the Tiger 1 was last seen in that corner, but and the T-34 that sneaked up onto the horseshoe has been wiped out. So I suspect we just need one of our heavies to poke his head round the corner to see if the enemy is still there. Talon's backing up a little to see if he can see himself. Unfortunately, his view range isn't that great, so backing up like that isn't really going to help too much. View range of the GW Panther is 275 meters, so you can see he's a long way short of the amount he needs to actually spot the enemy. But he's aiming for the tank destroyer bush. Yeah, tank destroyers tend to go behind there because it's easier for them to get shots on people in the southeast corridor. And he's now spotted a GW Panther crossing the swamp area. Just got hit by the M44. Unfortunately, Talon's position means he can't hit it because the rock face he's near is in the way. Okay, there's the Panther. He decided to go to the TT position, and Talon should be able to pull around onto him. Well, he hit something because there was no explosion. And it didn't impact against the rock face, so something took around there. And two enemy Baguette Panthers have turned up over on the other side of the battlefield. Yes, I know it's Britann Panther, but we like calling it the Baguette. It's just another Panther. It's another excuse for Wargaming to sell us the same tank again. Well, Victor needs to earn his money somehow to build the golden rocket that's going to beat SpaceX to space. No, I'm only joking, Victor. Oh, no, I did see a tracer there from the enemy Arty. He is still up there in the same position. We just saw the tracer, and the M44 has joined Talon in the position he was in. I think he can still hit that enemy. Oh, and the enemy Arty, the FB304, is nearby. He fires it in, snap. Still gets 44 hit points. The enemy is closing in on our cap area. He does have the Super Hellcat nearby as well, so he should be able to help out. There's the Panther. Now the enemy Arty is fairly near. Bounce out. Well, he didn't get any hit points from that shot, but I'm sure that if his teammate hadn't killed him, then he would have got the hit points instead. The M44 was the one who got the kill. Okay, I think both guys are now going to try and defend the cap area, help the box tank. And Talon's decided to go behind the TD rock and shoot from there. That seems fairly reasonable to me. The M44's gone a bit lower. It's a bit more dangerous for the M44 from that spot. Well, Talon's actually decided to move a bit closer to the corner. That will open up shots on the baguettes. But he said, no, I'm going to go up the other end of the southeastern pass, and that's probably because he wants to now try and get shots on the enemy tanks near their cap area. There's only one enemy left now, it's the baguette. They've just killed the enemy Arty and one of the baguettes. And that baguette's near our cap area. Now if he was to actually... Oh, no, that game's over. The box tank just killed the last baguette. Let's have a look at the third battle. The last replay is on the Malinovka map, South Spawn, and this time round it's TanqAndTonic in the GW Panther. Now recently he submitted a replay which we did the video for, where he got his third mark of excellence in the M44, I believe it was, or it was the Gorilla. He's been getting a lot of third marks recently, obviously because the standards has dropped since 1.13. A lot of good Arty players have left the game, and now the amount of damage needed to get an ace tanker and also to get a third mark has dropped considerably. So what Arty Noobs members are taking advantage of that to actually get their third marks up, because of course most of them actually do have sizable amounts of damage already. That's out in KB3. Long flight time, and he just misses him with his first shot for 35 hit points. Okay, the standard reload is 25 seconds. He's got 21.2. He's looking around for another target. Found a Panther 2 up on the hill. Okay, he's got a tier 7 RT, and that's a tier 8 target, so he's going to earn more XP off that. Rounds out, and he hits him for 165, but he didn't stick around to see where the shell went, and we normally criticise that because it actually takes away from the viewer the right to actually see the enemy hit by the shell. So I might have to take control of the camera to ensure that you get a shot of what actually happens. Okay, he's trying to track the target. Okay, rounds out. Nope, short on that one. Yeah, I understand what TanqAndTonic is doing. He's actually relocating after each shot the moment he fires to avoid the enemy getting a counter battery. But it does take away some of the enjoyment of actually seeing where the shell actually lands, in case it lands on something critical to the enemy. You want to come forward. Fires around in, and close. Very close, 149. Of course, the VK3002D doesn't have much in the way of armour, which makes it easy to damage if you can get a shot next door to him. T29, he's got quite a bit more in the way of damage armour. Up on top of the hill, though, we've got a number of enemy tanks now, including a defender. But TanqAndTonic sorted out that T32, and he sticks around to actually see exactly where the shell went, so he narrowly missed the T32, but he is picking up stun assist. Now, as you may know, MOE, or Marks of Excellence, are decided based on the average damage you do over the last 100 battles from the previous 2 weeks. And it's balanced against the amount of average damage that other players do in the same vehicle over the same period of time. So, if you can get better than 65% of most of the other players in the same tank in damage, and assistance damage as well, then you will get your first mark, and 85% will get you a second mark, and 95% will get you a third mark. Now, what's changed just recently is a number of players are now earning lots of less damage than they used to get before, And of course, most of the really good Arty players have given up the game because they thought, well, it's no point in playing now because you just don't get any enjoyment out of firing at the Arty, at the enemy. That was a direct hit on the KV3. And so it's actually lowered the amount necessary, the amount of damage necessary to get a mark of excellence. Marks of excellence have been falling like, well, 9 pins. Because most of the damage that people had previously recorded was quite high, and all of a sudden the average is much lower. There goes the KV3. He's got almost as much damage assistance as he actually has real damage on the enemy. Going for the defender. I think he was anticipating the defender would go back a bit more. He pulls back and, well, only stunned him. But a stun is efficient if it can actually generate stun return. And he's getting stun assistance. And there goes the defender. With 2 tanks up on the enemy at the moment. And that Pantera made a bit of a boo-boo there because he's actually trying to go in and kill the E5. And in return, he's going to get hit by TanqAndTonic, and he does. And now he's stunned, which slowed him down, made him an easy kill for the Patriot. Unfortunately, the Patriot's probably going to die to the Panther 2. He did, got ram killed. TanqAndTonic's going to be loaded momentarily, and I think that Panther 2's out of the game. Yep, he is. 3 tanks up on the enemy. This is beginning to look quite a good game. We're only 2 tanks up now. But it looks like they're corralling the enemy tanks into the northwest corner of the map. We've got a DL1 LPC. Rounds out. Nope. The T29 is still near the cap. He probably is a bit of an inexperienced player, and that's why he didn't go with the rest of the tanks up the hill. They found the SU-122-44. Line him up. Rounds out. Fired prematurely, but I think that will be near. It is. Only 26 hit points of damage, but he got the rest of the stun assist, and his stun assist is now twice, or nearly twice, the amount of actual damage he's done, and that's all going to contribute towards the MOE. It's damage and damage assistance, but also, well, I suppose stun assist counts as that. Sure about that, actually. I'm trying to remember if it is stun assist as well, but that's good. 210, and he's gone. Now, recently somebody actually checked on the amount of damage necessary to get the marks, and I've got that list in front of me right now. And for the GW Panther, in order to get a first mark, you need 817 average damage. To get a second mark, you need 1090. And to get a third mark, you need 1551. And I think, yeah, TanqAndTonic's very close to that right now. Of course, he needs to get that over a period of time. He doesn't need to, he can't just get it one battle where he gets that sort of damage, average damage, and or that sort of damage, and then get the third mark. You need to do the average of that amount. Only 2 enemies left. The Leo's about to die. He's gone. And that means now the TL1 LPC we saw retreating earlier, he's the last enemy. And then this game's going to be over. We saw where he was retreating. He's in this area here. Looking for any sign, any trees falling, anything being knocked over. Give you a clue as to where he is. Despite the fact that the E25's capping, this game is going to end with that TL1 LPC being killed. Where are you? Is he in the water? Hasn't drowned. We now have 3 in the cap. And he's been found. There he is. And fire's coming in on him rather rapidly. Unfortunately, that shell was a little too far away, but the TL1 LPC cannot escape now. He's spotted. Everyone's firing at him. And the MX-M445, is he going to get the kill? Or are we going to get a cap out? And he flies around in, and oh, TanqAndTonic flies the last round. Oh, he gets him! What a kill! Right at the end of the game, after the cap out had finished, within the last 5 seconds, it does count, and that means that they end up the game with a full wipeout of the enemy team. So let's have a look at the end of battle results for all of these games. So there's 3 really good games in the GW Panther. And in the first one, angelina75 got a 3rd class tanker in her GW, but she also picked up her 2nd mark of excellence from that game, as well as a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in it. She got 3 according to this. I'm not sure why she got a bruiser then, because you have to get 5 critical hits in order to get, I think it says actually injure crew members at least, or modules 5 times, but there's only 3 critical hits showing. Anyway, she got a win rate of 792, which wasn't a lot, but then her game was interrupted when she got rudely attacked by a setter, and her teammates came to her rescue, especially that AMX CDA105, who came back, killed the setter, and freed Angelina to start getting some damage on the 263. If we look at team score, we can see that Angelina only got 727 hit points. The high scorer in that game was the T95 with 3650, followed by the Object 263 she was firing at, which had 3466. When it came to kills, the high scorer again was the T95 with 3, and there was a whole bunch of enemy tanks with 2 kills. Angelina didn't get a kill at all. But when it came to base XP, she's again mid-table. The highest scorer being the Chimera with 1149. The T95 got 2nd with 1020. And Angelina managed to get 637, mid-table, but it was good enough for the game. She only fired 6 rounds in the entire game, 3 direct hits, no penetrations, all of them on the 263, or did she stun other people as well? According to this, she did damage the setter, but I think she actually damaged him with a 1 round from her gun and then a ram, so 438s. Not all the damage was done on the 263. She got 280 hit points off that 263, and she got 1 shot into the IS-3. It was up on the hill, but it was only a small amount of damage. 4 splash on the enemy as well. 727 hit points of damage, of which 289 were at more than 300 meters. So the vast majority of the damage was done at close range. 2 hits received, 2 penetrations, both from the setter. She damaged 3 of the enemy, didn't get any kills, but she got 908 hit points of stun assist off 5 stuns. On her premium count, she earned 28,325 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply, took away 24,295 credits. 995 XP times 2 for the first victory, took away 1,911 experience points altogether. So a very good, reasonable result considering she was attacked right at the start of the game by that setter. It was very reasonable that she actually did manage to get the 2nd mark of excellence from the game, and she did recover to get some damage out of it. We'll look at the 2nd game. That was talon1958, her partner, and he managed to get a 3rd class tank in his game. A bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He managed to get 6, and his win rate was a little higher with 1,493. If we look at team score, we can see that he's a little near the top actually. He's in the top 5 on his own team. The high scorer in the game was the Super Hellcat, who managed to get a high caliber and tanker sniper for 2,920 hit points, defending the cap area from those enemy tanks assaulting down the west side of the battlefield. The next highest scorer was the Tiger 1, and Talon was firing at that guy, 2,170 hit points. Talon managed 1,358, which is not bad because that puts him in 5th place overall on damage. And when it came to kills, it was the Super Hellcat and the M44 who did the best with 4 kills each. Talon didn't get any kills from the game, but he did get some damage. And when it came to base XP, he's mid-table with 605, the high scorer being the Super Hellcat with 1,076, followed by the Cromwell B with 842. He fired 13 rounds in his GW, 4 direct hits, no penetration, 13 splash. Damage of 1,358 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damage 4 of the enemy, didn't get any kills, but he got 27 hit points of damage assistance plus 509 hit points of stun assist off 12 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 29,304 credits, and after ammunition resupply took away 25,624 credits. 907 XP times 2 for the first victory. There's 1,816 for completing a mission. Took away 3,631 experience points altogether. Again, he's using the intuition to see if it works alongside Angelina, and it appeared to work fairly well, although he didn't get as much damage in this game as I think he would normally get, mainly because he had to shift position and move over to the southeast corner of the map to continue the battle because the enemy was getting rather close. Let's have a look at the third battle, because that was very interesting. That was the third mark of excellence for TanqAndTonic in his GW Panther. Yes, he easily earned enough damage, and his average damage has now gone above the threshold, which means he's got his third mark. He's got an ace tanker out of that game, as well as a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 16. And he got a Confederate medal because he hit more of the enemy than anyone else in his team. You can see that he only got 1 kill, that TL1 LPC, right at the end of the game. And that helped his team to add and get the bonus for killing all of the enemy team. Yes, there is a bonus if you do kill all the enemy team. It's actually there in the wiki if you look it up. So when people say no cap kill all, they're actually after the bonus, not after the fact that they just want to kill all of the enemy team. They need to ensure that they kill all of the enemy team to get the bonus, and that's why sometimes they just want people to get out of the cap to stop the cap from happening so that they can ensure they get that bonus. So let's have a look at team score. When he didn't get the highest damage in the game, he actually ended up 5th on his team for damage, and I think he was a lot further down the table when it came overall. So he's actually on 7th place when it came to damage on the whole game. The highest scorer was the IS-3 with 2494. Then came the AMX M445, who managed to get 2,430. And the third highest damage was the TL1 LPC, the one killed at the end. He got 2,377. TanqAndTonic managed 1,665, which is very respectable. He also managed to get 1 kill, but the high scorer was the AMX M445, who got 5 kills. But he got taken out right at the end by the TL1 LPC. 2 kills went to the E25, the IS-3, the TL1 LPC, the Object 252 Defender, and the enemy GW all got 2. And when it came to base XP, it was TanqAndTonic who did the best in that game. Tier 7 in a Tier 9 game. I think it was Tier 9. Or was it Tier 8 game? It looked like a Tier 8 game, actually. 1,318 base experience points went to TanqAndTonic. 1,152 went to the AMX M445, and 1,116 went to the E25, and 1,034 to the IS-3. Those are the only four players who managed to get over 1,000 base on the game, but it was TanqAndTonic by far because he was hitting higher tier opponents and getting serious damage on them, and that earned him more XP to get him the ace tanker. Plus, of course, he did get some stun assists. Let's have a look at the detail. 18 shots fired, 6 direct hits, no penetrations but 17 splash. Damage of 1,665 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 12 of the enemy in that game, so there was only 3 enemy tanks he didn't touch in the entire game. And he also got 1 kill. 168 hit points of damage assistance and 3,623 hit points of stun assist off 16 stuns, and that definitely earned him the ace tanker, no doubt about that at all. And the last tank that of course he killed, that was the LTL1 LPC. On a premium count he earned 41,456 credits, and after a resupply of ammunition and consumables took away 22,024 credits. 1,318 XP, 1,977 experience points taken away, so a very good game to win your third mark of excellence for TanqAndTonic in the GW Panther. He's now going to have 3 marks in the end of his barrel. It'll look purple, and yes, it means he's going to be twice as deadly. Well, not really. It doesn't really make you any more deadly, but it just shows you've got a proficiency in the vehicle, which means you can nail the enemy and win battles for your team. So when your teammates see that you've got 3 marks up there, they'll say, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. He's going to be able to help us win. If we help him, he'll win the game. Well, at least that's what I'd like to think most players do. When they see 3 marks on a vehicle, they think, yep, this guy really knows his business. So congratulations to TanqAndTonic, and also to Talon for his game, and Angelina getting a second mark in her game. I hope you enjoyed those replays. If you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.